भीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sadasevya Sadasevya Srimad Bhagavati Katha Yasya Shravana Matrena Harischittam Samashrayet. Lovely. So we've started with chapter 3. Sorry about the break last week. But what we've covered so far is that Suta Goswami is speaking, right? He briefly spoke of the Purush incarnations, the Purush avatars, and he said that the Lord accepted Purush avatars because he wanted to create the material worlds, right? So the Lord has accepted Karanodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu forms. Karanodakashayi Vishnu, also known as Mahavishnu, from his skin, from the holes on his skin, all the universes have sprung up, right? And in each of those universes, he has entered as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. In verse 5, he clearly says, Etan nanavataranam nidhanam bijam avyayam. There are so many different avatars in this universe. But for all of them, I am the nidhanam bijam avyayam. I am the source, I am the eternal seed of all the incarnations within this universe. Okay? So Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is the source of absolutely all the incarnations that have appeared. So whether it is Guna Avatar, Leela Avatar, Manvantara Avatar, Shaktavesh Avatar, whatever, Yuga Avatar, all these avatars come from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And remember, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu has come from the Lord. So keep this in mind, okay? Please remember that all of these are avatars Krishna is the avatari, the source. Okay, so last week we looked at the four Kumaras, then we looked at the Varaha avatar, and we looked at Devrishi Naradji. Right? We'll continue this week with verse 9. Before we continue, always keep in mind, why does God incarnate? Why does God incarnate?
For his devotees.
श्लोक बोलो भाई, श्लोक बोलो भगवद गीता का. फिर
परित्राणाय साधूनां धर्म संस्थापनाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
Very good. So why does the Lord incarnate? Has one definite answer. 3 reasons. Okay? Paritranaya sadhunam. To protect the devotees. Vinashaya च दुष्कृताम. सारे demons को खत्म करने के लिए. Dharma संस्थापनार्थाय. To re-establish dharma. So whenever we are talking of the avatars of the Lord, please remember, every avatar has a specific reason. Okay? So whenever we are studying avatars, all we have to really understand is, why did the Lord come in this particular avatar? Okay? Alright, with that background, we will start appreciating the avatars even more. So we will move to verse number 9. Turye dharma kala sarge नर नारायणावृषिः भूत्वात्मोपशमोपेतम् अकरोद्दुश्चरं तपः. कविता.
In the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayana, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses.
Wonderful. Okay, so in the fourth incarnation, Turye Dharma Kala, so wife of Dharmaraj. Okay, who was born? Nar Narayan. Okay, Nar means human, Narayan means Vishnu Bhagwanji. Nar and Narayan were born as two inseparable sages. They were born as twins to Dharmaraj and his wife Murti, who is daughter of Daksha. Now, the background story is that there was a demon, Sahasra Kavach. This guy, he was a king pehle, then he prayed, did 1000 amount of tapasya to Surya Dev. And he asked for a boon, ki he should get 1000 kavach, 1000 armors to protect his body. And the clause was, if anybody has to kill him, then they will have to meditate for 1000 years and fight with him for 1000 years. Only then he could be destroyed. And so for that, Nar Narayan Muni were born. Okay? Nar Narayan, they took turns. एक लड़ रहा है तो एक meditation कर रहा है, दूसरा लड़ेगा तो पहले वाला meditation में बैठेगा. Right? So like that, one fought with the demon and the other sat down in meditation. So like that, they were able to destroy 999 kavach. एक रह गया. Okay? Because Yuga Sandhya aa gayi, and then that one kavach was left. Any guess who got that kavach? Karna.
No.
Karna. Karna. So that one kavach that was left came as Karna. Anyways. So Nar Narayan became Arjun and Krishna, and that one kavach had to be still destroyed. So that was Karna. Okay? Anyways. Don't look at too much logical timelines or historical accuracy or anything. Take the essence over here, which will help in our spiritual growth. Okay? So the stuff that I found very interesting about Nar Narayan, okay, is that they are shown in two different ways. One, they are depicted separately. And in another form, they are depicted together. Okay, very interesting this is. When they are depicted separately, that time Nar is human. He has two hands. He is wearing a deer skin. But Narayan is in the Chaturbhuj Vishnu form. As soon as they are depicted together, you know what happens? Both of them look identical to each other. Both of them are in the Chaturbhuj Roop. Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Right? what it essentially means is that when Nar completely submits to Narayan, when Nar starts seeing Narayan in everything that he does, then that Nar becomes inseparable from Narayan. So Nar starts looking also like Narayan. See how beautiful this is. Okay? It is believed that Nar Narayan are still undergoing tapasya for us living entities sitting in Badrinath. Right? When we were in Badrinath, we were told that 1 day of meditation in Badrinath is equal to 1,000 years of meditation. Right? There's this wonderful speaker on YouTube, and he says कि अगर आप ध्यान दो तो हर युग में when a person wants something, he prays to God, but he does a lot of tapasya. Right? Even this Sahasra Kavach also, right? He did a lot of austerities and he prayed to Indradev, and only then he could get it. It is only in Kali Yuga कि हम लोग ना से भगवान के सामने जाते हैं, हाथ जोड़ते और बोलते हैं भगवान यार ये दे दे, भगवान यार वो दे दो, and we get it. You know why? Because on our behalf, Nar Narayan are doing tapasya sitting in Badrikashram. So beautiful, right? Okay, all right. So that is about Nar Narayan. Next, we'll go to the next verse, verse number 10. Panchama Kapilo Nama Siddhesha Kala Viplutam Pravacha Asure Sankhyam Tattvagrama Vinirnayam. Yeah, Kavita.
The fifth incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics of Asuri, Brahmana. In course of time, this knowledge has been lost.
Wonderful. Panchama Kapilo Nama. The fifth incarnation ka naam is Kapil. Siddhesha. He is a very Siddha Purush. And what did he do? Kala Viplutam. That knowledge which was lost as Kal passed by, as time passed by, important knowledge was lost. Pravacha Asuraye Sankhyam. So this knowledge he got Asuri Brahman to speak. How? Tattvagrama Vinirnayam. In pura detail he explained all the tattva of Sankhya Yoga, and this tattva Asuri Brahman picked up, and Asuri Brahman ने इसको आगे बहुत सारा फैलाया. Okay? So Kapil Muni. Okay, sorry. I'm just gonna mute. Alright. So there was Kardama Muni, and so Kardama Muni was sitting in tapasya. Then Devahuti comes and they get married, and then they have children. They have 9 daughters. All 9 daughters marry great sages. Kardama Muni wants to go back to his austerities, but his wife says, no, I still need a son. Only then leave me under the protection of a son, and then you can go. And that is when Kapil Muni is born. As soon as Kapil Muni is born, his father gives up all household life and he goes to the forest and he continues his tapasya. Kapil Muni bade hote hain, and at that point, Devahuti, his mother, asks him a lot of questions. Right? So this section is called Kapil Devahuti Samvad. Okay? So there are a lot of discussions between Kapil Muni and his mother Devahuti. She essentially approaches him and she says, look, I'm very ashamed of myself because I am fed up of trying to satisfy my 5 senses. I have this huge problem. मैं इतनी कोशिश कर रही हूँ और फिर भी ये senses satisfy होते ही नहीं है. All my life I have been giving into these senses. My senses are never satisfied. So please help me. And so Kapil Muni, her son, gives her Sankhya philosophy. That gives her inner peace. That उनके मन को शांत करता है. Right? So this Samvad, which is in the format of question answer, this is called Sankhya philosophy. And this Sankhya philosophy, which Kapil Muni gave इतने तत्व में, इतने detail में, this Asuri Brahman, he did a lot of tapasya. He understood this whole Sankhya philosophy and he widely spread it in the world. Yeah, Gita.
Question is कि आसुरी ब्राह्मण is name of the Brahmana.
Yes.
आसुरी तो मतलब मुझे वही
नहीं. He's the name of a very, very good Maharshi. Okay, Asuri was a Maharshi. He did a lot of tapasya, and then he got a vision of the absolute truth. And then he understood the concepts of Sankhya Yoga just as given by Kapil Muni. Okay, and that is why it is said that Asuri Brahman is credited with actually spreading Sankhya philosophy in today's world. Okay, what we actually call metaphysics is Sankhya philosophy. Okay, all right. So another form of the Lord was Kapil Dev. Verse number 11. Ready?
Krishna.
Yes.
So,
Sorry, Priya, tell me.
no. So actually, what the Samvad is between Kapila Muni and Devahuti, right?
Yes.
So when it was given to Asuri Brahman,
It's a few generations after. Okay, Kapil Muni has been talking about Sankhya Yoga, right? Then in succession, in disciplic succession, somewhere Asuri Muni got it, but he is credited with actually spreading the knowledge far and wide. Otherwise, it was very restricted. Sankhya philosophy is also very difficult to understand. तो किसने उसको easy format में करके spread किया? That is Asuri Brahman. Okay? Yeah, Kavita.
We are looking at Kapil Muni as incarnation of Lord. Asuri Muni is only spreading his
Correct.
teachings or his
Correct. Okay. Next, verse number 11. Shashtham atrerapatyaitvam vritah prapto anasuyaya anvikshikim alarkaya प्रह्लाद आदिभ्य ऊचिवान.
The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anusuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahalada, and others.
Okay.
This is Yadu, Haihaya, etc.
So this incarnation, the sixth incarnation that Suta Goswami is talking about, is the Lord coming as the son of Atri Muni and Anasuya, his wife. Atri ka beta Dattatreya. Okay? So it is believed that Anasuya was praying to the Lord, right? And Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, she doesn't know who is the supreme most Lord. And she says, I want the supreme most Lord as my son. Right? So all three of them actually come together because she's not able to identify who is the supreme most. And she says, I pray for all of you to become my son. The three of them combine, and Datta means given. They give themselves to Atri Muni as his son. Okay? So simple. Atri Muni के बेटे दत्तात्रेय त्रय, तीनों को मिल के जो आते हैं, ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिवा को मिल के जो आते हैं, वो दत्तात्रेया. Okay? So Dattatreya is considered an incarnation who used the entire universe as his guru. Right? He learned from nature. He recognized divinity in all aspects of creation. He is believed to have 24 gurus from nature. And this is very, very interesting. You must open to this section of the Bhagavad and read it. Okay, I mean, he tells you how a crow is his guru. You know, how a pigeon is his guru, how a prostitute is his guru. Beautiful section. Spend 15 minutes and read this pakka. Okay, Digambara, Sripada Vallabha Digambara. Right? So, Digambara, Dattatreya is shown as a yogi. 3 heads. So, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and 6 hands. Okay, so that means he's as powerful as all 3 of them. With him, there are always 4 dogs. The 4 dogs represent the 4 Vedas. Okay, and there is a cow. The cow symbolizes Mother Earth. Okay, so he actually, in his role, when this incarnation comes, it comes to tell us how important a guru, a guide, a spiritual master is in our life. If we have a spiritual master in our life, we will be able to see divinity everywhere. right? So that is Dattatreya incarnation. All right, verse number 12. Tatah saptama akutyam रुचेर्यज्ञो अभ्यजायत स यामाद्यै सुरगणैर् अपात् स्वायम्भुवान्तरम्.
The seventh incarnation was Yagna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi, and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of Swayambhuva Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama.
It's such a sweet little thing. They say that in this period of Swayambhuva Manu, there was nobody who was worthy of becoming Indra. Normally, who are Indra? Who are all these demigods? They're all when people accumulate a lot of pious credits, they go become the Devatas, right? But in that particular period of Swayambhuva Manu, there was no human being who was eligible to become Indra. And therefore, the Lord himself became Indra. ओके अब जहाँ पे भी एक ब्लैंक होता है वहाँ पे भगवान जाके खुद वो रोल प्ले कर लेते हैं, राइट? सो दैट टाइम ही वाज कॉल्ड यज्ञ, and to help him do the role of Indra, his children like Yama and other devatas, they helped him. Okay, very simple. Next, Ashtame Meru Devyam tu Nabhe Jata Urukramaha Darshayan Vartmadhiranam Sarvashrama Namaskritam.
The eighth incarnation was King Rasupha, son of King Nabhi.
King Rishabh, your own son.
Rishabh. Oh, okay. But why? Okay, they put the two dots below.
Yeah.
Rishabha.
Yeah, Rishabh.
Rishabha, son of King Nabhi and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life.
Okay, so Ashtame, the eighth incarnation was Meru Devyam and Nabhi. So Meru Devi and King Nabhi ka beta, he was Urukramaha. He did all kinds of big, powerful activities, right? He was very, very powerful. Darshayan Vartma Dhiranam, जो धीर लोग थे, जो seekers थे, spiritual seekers, उनको he showed the path, and all ashram ki people did namaskar to him. Sarvashrama Namaskritam. People from all the four ashrams, right? What happened was by this time, by the time he became king, what was happening is that, so when Rishabdev became king, Varnashram was fading out. Okay? So he taught people the principles of Varnashram. Right? He was very, very elevated. He could have been a sadhu santa. But no, he decided to be a kshatriya and teach people by example how Varnashram is supposed to be followed. So he listened and took advice from the Brahmins. He did very good, he looked after his kingdom really, really well, and he got the Vaishyas and the Shudras to run the country according to their own positions. Okay? So he taught people how to do dharma, artha, kama and go towards moksha. Yadyadachariti Shreshthas. So he was that Shrestha who did very good acharan to lead people by example on the path of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Yes, darling.
Harsha, this is done by Rishabh, King Rishabh, or his son Urukrama?
No. Urukrama is not the son. Urukrama means very, very big krama, big activities. The son of Nabhi and Meru Devi, son of Nabhi, King Nabhi and Meru Devi is King Rishabdev, and ये सब ऋषभदेव ने किया. ऋषभदेव ने by example he taught people how to do their varnashram dharma. In fact, there is an amazing chapter on teachings of Rishabdev to his sons. Okay, In this though, Rishabdev has explained full Bhagavad Dharma. And he tells his children, so he has 100 sons, Rishabdev. Okay? And he tells his 100 sons how a human being should not work like dogs and hogs for sense gratification. He explains to them that our human life is meant for us to revive our relationship with the Supreme Lord. And so he in fact stresses on austerity and penance. When he talks to his sons, he tells them that it is very, very important for all of us to practice austerities. If we want to reach the Supreme, we should be able to get rid of sense gratification. I personally like a verse very much which Rishabdev in his teachings to his son says. He says, "Tum guru mat banna, tum swajana, matlab relatives mat banna, tum pita mat banna, tum janani mat banna, tum dev mat banna, tum pati mat banna. जब तक तुम जो तुम्हारे डिपेंडेंट्स होते हैं उनको मोक्ष की ओर नहीं ले जा सकते." He says, become a father, a mother, a husband, a spiritual guru, a devata, only and only if you can take those people who are dependent on you out of this cycle of birth and death. So it kind of tells us how crucial our roles are and how much we are moving away from our role if we are not going to lead our children, our dependents on this path, on this spiritual journey. Okay, so Rishabdev ki teachings to his son are beautiful. So one of them is this: if you want to become a mother, think 100 times and then give birth to a child, because your primary duty is going to be leading that child onto the path of spirituality. Okay.
Where is this teaching? Where are these teachings?
I think it is the 5th canto, if I'm not mistaken. I could be so wrong because I really don't know the cantos, but I will send it to you. Just do teachings of Rishabdev to his sons and you'll easily find it.
Yeah.
Very nice chapter. Okay? Alright. Then the 14th verse. Rishabhir yachito bheje. Sorry, ya Kavita?
Sorry, Varsha. Each of these that we are doing, we will be covering these in details also, right, in the Bhagavatam?
Yes. See, my intention is only to do the first canto of Bhagavad. Right? The first canto of Bhagavad is what we all plan to study together. Second canto to the 12th canto, all these stories are there in detail, absolutely. Right? So, it's very fun. In fact, there are very nice books which only talk of prayers from the Bhagavad, stories from the Bhagavad. So, we can even just pick those up also and keep reading. Okay? Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the 14th verse. Rishabhir yachito bheje Navamam parthivam vapuhu Dugdhe mam oshadhir vipras Tenayam sa ushattamaha. Yeah.
O Brahmanas, in the 9th incarnation, the Lord prayed for by the sages, accepted the body of a king who cultivated the land to yield various produces, and for that reason, the earth was beautiful and attractive.
ऋषिभिर याचितो भेजे. द ऋषिज ने याचना की, एकदम दिल से भगवान को प्रे किया, इसीलिए नवमम पार्थिवम वपुहु. That is why the God took this 9th incarnation of Prithu Maharaj. Dugdhe mam aushadhir vipras. O Vipras, O Brahmanas, Dugdha, milk, and Aushadhi. Aushadhi is all the plantation that grows on earth. Right? All of that grew in plenty after Prithu Maharaj came into power. Okay, so what happens is, we all know Dhruv Maharaj. Right? Dhruv Maharaj ke aage, unfortunately in his lineage, there was a horrible king called King Vena. Okay? Vena did not follow any of the Vedic principles. Okay, he was a horrible king. He was so bad that all the rishis of that time got together and killed him, because he was so difficult for anybody to have as a ruler. Now that he was dead, the kingdom had no king. There was no king, there was nobody to rule. There was suffering everywhere, there was famine everywhere. Now the sages are thinking, oh my God, what do we do? So they go and they churn this Vena's body. Okay, they churn his thigh, I think, first. And from his thigh, एक dark dwarf hunter निकलता है. So they say, अच्छा पूरा evil निकल गया. Okay, then they churn his arm again. And when they churn his arm, a beautiful being with bows, arrows, kavach, everything is born. So they say, okay, this is the good son of Vena. This is Prithu Maharaj. Okay, so Prithu Maharaj is born only with bows, arrows, kavach, kundal, all of that. And so looking at him like that, remember that time there's famine everywhere, right? Which means the Bhagavad believes that when you have good administration, there will always be plenty for everybody. Raja agar अच्छा हो तो प्रजा बहुत सुख पाती है. In terms of rain will also be proper, vegetation will also be good, कोई natural calamities नहीं आएगी. But if the Raja is not good, then everything goes for a toss, right? So because Vena was not good, everything had gone for a toss. What the earth had done was, the earth refused to let good vegetation grow. Earth ने सब कुछ अपने अंदर समेट के ले लिया था. And when she saw this guy born, she got scared. She thought another bad king, right? So she took the form of a cow and she started running. Okay? So Prithu Maharaj, he already had weapons. He ran after her. He went to hunt her. And then the earth realizes, ki, oh my God, now I can't go anywhere. I can't be saved. So the earth speaks to Prithu Maharaj and tells him, ki, look, I'm not going to give any of my aushadhi, any of my doodh, because we've had bad rulers. So Prithu Maharaj convinces her, saying, I promise you, I will uphold dharma. I will be a guardian of the people. Right? When he promises dharma, earth, then earth, who's in the form of a cow, she gives a lot of milk and all her vegetables and grains and minerals, everything, बहुत सारा plenty में for the welfare of humanity is got. Therefore, it is very important for us to go and vote so we have good administration, so that we have plenty of everything that we need in our everyday lives. Right? So, people were very, very happy when Prithu Maharaj became the king. Okay? Alright. Verse number 15. Rupam sah jagrimatsyam. Jagrimatsyam. Chakshu shodadhi samplave. Navi aropya mahimayam. Apad vaivasvatam manum.
When there was a complete inundation of the period of the
Chakshusha Manu,
and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivasva Manu, keeping him up on a boat.
Okay. So Manu, okay, was a very good Raja. Okay, Manu was a very devoted, a very dharmic ruler, and he was doing all his spiritual practices and all very, very properly. Once he was in the ocean, he was praying, he took some water in his hands and he saw a tiny fish in his arm. Right? We all have heard this story. Ek choti si machli comes in his hands. Right? And the machli tells the Raja, please, 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 मुझे बचा लो, नहीं तो ये जो बाहर की बड़ी बड़ी मछलियाँ हैं वो मुझे खा लेंगे. So the king says, okay, the king holds that machli, takes a little pot and puts the machli in that, right? But he's so amazed because that machli immediately becomes big. So he puts her in a bigger pond. The fish becomes even bigger. Then from the big pond, he moves to another, lake, becomes even bigger. Then he takes that Matsya and he puts him back into the vast ocean. And when he does that, Vishnu reveals himself, right? And Vishnu says, look, I was just testing your faith, right? When Manu bows down to him, that time Matsya Avatar tells him, look, the great flood, pralaya aane wala hai, right? So I'm advising you to gather all kinds of species of plants and animals in sets of 2, right? gather the Saptarishi and bring them all into a nice large boat. एक बड़ा सा boat बनाना, right? Put the Saptarishi in there, put all creatures, all varieties in pairs in that boat, and 7 days from today, Pralaya is going to come. And when Pralaya comes, this Matsya avatar appears and tells him to use Vasuki as a rope, right? Tie the boat to me using Vasuki, and I will take you away from Pralaya. So that's how he saves all of them so that life can be recreated. Matsya avatar essentially shows us कि renewal होता है, and the Lord will protect everything that needs to be protected and brought back to life. And this Manu, everything that he remembered from what God told him, that is Manu Smriti, the laws for mankind. जो हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि humans should live on the basis of Manu Smriti. So this Manu is the one who wrote Manu Smriti, the memories of Manu. Okay? Don't get too hassled if you can't remember these avatars. Okay? Because obviously, unless we read them many times, you're not going to remember most of these stories. But just all that we need to keep understanding is how many times God incarnates in alag avatar so that life continues, so that we keep walking on the path of spirituality, so that the evil is destroyed, so that good is saved, so that dharma is protected. Right? Okay, verse number 16. Sura Suranam Udadhim Matnatam Mandarachalam Dadre Kamata Rupena Prushta Ekadashe Vibhuhu.
The 11th incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise whose shell served as the pivot for the Bandarachala Prahil. This was used as a churning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe.
Okay, so this is the Samudra Manthan, right? Mandarachal mountain ko banda tha, and the Devtas on one side and the Dev on one side, they were trying to churn because they wanted nectar. They wanted Amrut, right?
Amrit.
Correct, they wanted Amrit. But wo steady nahi ho raha tha, right? The mountain was falling on this side, mountain was falling on that side. So they needed some stability. So to give stability, to give a firm foundation, because niche to ocean ke niche to sand hota hai na. So it is not steady. So at that time, God comes as Kurma avatar. Okay? And makes that base very steady so that the churning could happen. Please understand what this means for us is that अपनी अगर भक्ति अगर डगमगती है ना, हमको समझ में नहीं आता यार क्या कर रही हूँ, कभी कर रही हूँ कभी नहीं कर रही हूँ, डगमग होता है ना जब अपनी भक्ति, तब think of Kurmadev in your mind. He will bring stability to your life. Wherever there is imbalance, wherever there is instability, right? At that time, think of Kurmadev. Tell him, भाई बड़ा डगमग हो रहा है, प्लीज आके बचा लो, है ना? वो आके अपनी भक्ति में स्थिरता लाएंगे. Okay? So they needed that Mandara mountain to be steady, and so to provide that foundation, God took the form of this tortoise. Okay? All right. Next one. Verse number 17. Dhanvantaram dvadashamam Trayodashamam evacha Apayayat suran anyan Mohinya mohayan striya.
In the 12th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and in the 13th, he allured the atheists by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink.
Right, so we all know this is continuing, the Samudra Manthan is continuing. At that time, one of the things that comes out of Samudra Manthan is Dhanvantari, the god of healing. Here, Dhan refers to health, right? The Ayurvedic medicine. So, Dhanvantari comes with 4 arms, has a pot of amrut, right? Nectar, has a leech, right? The insect for curing. If you look at a Dhanvantari Murti, he will always be carrying a leech and a book which carries all the sutras for Ayurveda, right? So Dhanvantari came from that Samudra Manthan in which the Devta and the Danav were fighting. But what happened was the Danav immediately they seized that pot of nectar. Amrut unhone खींच के ले लिया. So again Vishnu immediately takes another avatar, which is the Mohini avatar, right? So Mohini also comes, a beautiful form of a woman, fools the demons and gives all the amrut to the devatas, right? So here they're talking of the 12th and the 13th incarnation. Please remember, this is not in chronological order, okay? So the Goswami is just talking about different avatars that have come, okay? All right. Chaturdasham Narasimham Bibhraddaityedramoorjitam Dadar Karajair Urav Erakam Katakrudyatha. So nice this is. Yeah, Kavita, read.
In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Nrsimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane.
है ना, जैसे एक कारपेंटर अपना केन को तोड़ सकता है, वैसे नरसिम्हदेव came and killed Hiranyakashipu, right? We all know the story of dear little Prahlad Maharaj who could see God everywhere. Hiranyakashipu obviously, was so angry because he wanted his son to worship him and nobody else. And so, is God here? Is God here? Is God here? Is he in this pillar? Yes, he is. Unko मारते हैं तो Narsimhadev comes out, and then Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jvalantam Sarvatomukham Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityur Namamyaham. Right? So all of us know the story of Prahlad Maharaj and Narsimhadev. So we leave it at that. Panchadasham Vamanakam Krutvagad Adhvaram Balehe Padatrayam Yachamanaham Pratyadittu Stripishtapam.
In the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf, Brahmana, that's Vamana, and visited the arena of sacrifice arranged by Maharaja Bali. Although at heart he was willing to regain the kingdom of the 3 planetary systems, he simply asked for a donation of 3 steps of land.
Okay, again we all know Bali Maharaj ki story, right? We've done it many times. 3 Vikrama. He's called 3 steps se leke, just with 3 steps he could cover the entire universe. That is why Lord Vaman Dev is called 3 Vikrama, right? He was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, became very powerful, and then Bali Maharaj, was doing all these big yajna, tapas, and so little Vaman Dev comes and says, just give me 3 steps of land. हंसते हैं बली महाराज, बस 3 steps of land. इतना सुंदर सा बालक आया, भाई कुछ और मांग ले, आज तो सारी इच्छाएं पूरा करूंगा. He says, नहीं, बस 3 steps are enough. So with one he covers the earth, with the second one the whole space between earth and heaven. तो अब बोलते हैं भी कहाँ रखूँ तीसरा पाँव? तो बली महाराज झुकते हैं, right? So Bali Maharaj says, please put your foot on my head, and with that Vaman Dev pushes him down to the netherworlds. Okay, very important story because it tells us Vaman Dev तो छोटे से थे. Bali Maharaj, Mahabali, right? Mahabali, इतने बड़े, धनवान, कीर्तिवान, right? Had owned everything. But power does not come from strength. Power does not come from size. It requires humility. It requires intelligence. It requires wisdom. Right? Bali Maharaj, very humbling, very beautiful story. Next, 20th verse. Guys, if you're bored, we can stop or we can complete the avatars today. We'll see how much. What do you think? Should we stop?
I got 4 o'clock, but what were we going to do? Let's do.
Pakka?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, chalo. 20th verse. अवतारे षोडशमे पश्यन् ब्रह्मद्रुहो नृपान्
पश्यन् ब्रह्मद्रुहो नृपान्
त्रिः सप्तकृत्वः कुपितो नक्षत्राम् अकरोन्महीम्
In the 16th incarnation of the Godhead, the Lord, as Bhrugupati, annihilated the administrative class Kshatriyas 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas. He intended to
Bhrugupati, who we all know as Parshuram.
Parshuram.
Right? Parshu means an axe. So his name literally means Rama with an axe. Parshuram. So one Ram who carried an axe. Right? So he's called as Parshuram and he's called as Bhrugupati. Now Parshuram was the son of Jamadagni. Okay? बहुत तपस्या के बाद he had got an axe from Shivji. Now this Parshuram, naturally, he was born in a Brahmin family because Jamadagni was a great Brahmin. But he was just by nature a Kshatriya. He was very aggressive. He liked to fight war and he was very strong. So he was called a Brahma Kshatriya. Shivji was so pleased with him that when he gave him the Parshu, he also taught him different methods of warfare. Right? He taught him a lot of skills. Once this Sahasra Arjun, Kartavirya Sahasra Arjun, right? He forcibly took away Parshuram ke father ki Kamadhenu. Right? Jamadagni had a beautiful Kamadhenu that helped him in his austerities, in his tapasya, in his spiritual practices. One day this king, Kartavirya Sahasra Arjun, he came and he took away the Kamadhenu. Parshuram ko aaya gussa. He went and he killed the entire army of Kartavirya. He even killed Kartavirya Arjun. Kartavirya Arjun ke bachon ko gussa aaya. So they came back to where Jamadagni was sitting and meditating. Parshuram was not there. They killed Jamadagni. Parshuram came. He was again angry. He went and he killed all the sons and he killed all the Kshatriya clans. So like that, it is said that this went on till he killed the Kshatriya clans 21 times. Okay, he was so angry against the Kshatriyas. But finally also remember that this same Parshuram is the guru of Bhishma. He is the guru of Dronacharya. He is the guru of Karna. Right? So there are different aspects. Unhone kiya wo pura because his role was to get rid of the Kshatriyas who were corrupt, who were not working in favor of the masses. अगर एक ब्राह्मण के पास एक अच्छी कामधेनु है, you have no business to go touch it. Right? As a Kshatriya, your business is to go protect your subjects. Right? So Parshuram in that role came to eradicate all the corrupt Kshatriya rulers. But then he also did Brahman ka kaam, which is he was a great guru to Dronacharya and Bhishma. Right? And then remember when he taught Karna, he had Trikala Drishti. He knew कि आगे जाके कर्ण क्या करने वाला है, दुर्योधन का साइड लेने वाला है कुरुक्षेत्र वॉर में. As guru, he taught him Brahma Shastra. But as a Trikaladarshi, he knew that this knowledge is going to harm us. And so what did he do? He cursed Karna, saying this knowledge will not be useful to you when you need it the most. Right? So this is the same Parshuram. 21. Tatah saptadashe jatah Satyavatyam Parasharat Chakre Vedataro Shakha Drishtva Pumso Alpamedhasaha.
Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of the Godhead, Sri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashara Muni, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, meaning that the people in general were less intelligent.
Okay, so obviously now what is happening? Seeing that people are... So before this, remember all Vedic knowledge is called Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya means unborn. Vedic knowledge was just spoken by the Supreme Lord unto Brahma. right? Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Right? The first verse itself tells us that. So initially, all Vedic knowledge was transmitted by the Supreme Lord to Brahma. Brahma transmitted it to the Saptarishis, right? And then this knowledge continued for the betterment of mankind, right? But then what happened was, till that point it was in Shruti form. But Ved Vyas ko dikha ki aage jaake people are abuddhayah. Remember the qualities of people in Kali Yuga? So this knowledge would have to be written down. So Ved Vyas ने वो पूरा वेद लिया और उसको 4 पार्ट में सिंप्लीफाई किया. He knew कि we are not going to be smart enough to understand the Vedas as they are, so he put it in 4 parts. Initially they say 3 parts. Atharva Ved came later. Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sama Ved. Okay, much later Atharva Ved. So he put it in written form so that people in Kali Yuga would be able to process it. After doing that, Ved Vyas taught 1 Ved to each student. Okay, so he had 4 very, very good students. He taught each of them 1 part. Right? So there's Paili, there's Sumanta, there's Romaharshan, right? Different people. Then Ved Vyas realized कि यार ये भी बड़ा difficult है कलयुग के लिए. So he wrote the Mahabharat. 1 lakh verses का उन्होंने पूरा महाभारत लिखा. Right? Which is in story form, where everybody will be able to understand कि अच्छा ऐसा भी situation life में आ सकता है. Right? After that, remember, he's written the Puranas, he's written the Upanishads, still not satisfied. Then he sits and he writes Bhagavad Puran on the advice of Narad Muni. Okay? So this Ved Vyas is also an incarnation of the Lord. He is known as the literary incarnation of Lord. He knew कि भाई आगे जाके people will need simplified understanding of Vedic principles, and therefore he started with dividing the Vedas, came right up till Bhagavad. Okay? Ved Vyas also, remember, father of Dhritarashtra, father of Pandu, father of Vidur. Biological father. Okay? Alright. So here in the verse they tell you he was the son of Parashar and Satyavati. Okay? Alright. Next, 22nd verse.
Varsha,
Yes.
Varsha,
Hmm.
Varsha, why everywhere is written less intelligent classes like Dvijabandhu, Shudras and women?
Because-
Why women are always considered less intelligent?
Because very very good question and very simple answer. Because उस जमाने में गुरुकुल सिर्फ लड़के जाते थे, है ना? उस जमाने में बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ नहीं चल रहा था. बेटियों को जो है घर गृहस्थी. Women always see your ardhangini. You got proper punya. जितना तुम्हारे husband ने बैठ के study किया, तपस्या किया, you got 50% simply because you cleaned up, made everything available, and you're always there to help him in what he did. But you did not study the scriptures. Women mothered the babies, looked after the babies, ensured a very nourishing environment. Right? So women did not go to Gurukul, they did not study the scriptures, therefore they were called less intelligent. Okay, it's not derogatory, it's just that we had different job profiles. Right? And
they say that also, sorry, they're saying that also for the other classes who were also not sent to the Gurukul.
correct, exactly. Right? So who went to the Gurukul? Brahmins went, Kshatriyas went.
Yes.
Nobody else went. Right? Dvijabandhu are those that are born in Brahmin families but still did not bother to get good knowledge. They were useless sons of Brahmin parents. Right? So unke liye, then the Vaishyas, they never went to Gurukuls. Right? They took, they looked after your agriculture and your trade and your economy. Shudras, they were always providing service. They did not go to Gurukuls. And women did not go to Gurukul. Right? For that reason, please remember, our job profile may not have made us scripturally intelligent, but we were integral. Right? If you saw Kardama Muni needed to take a wife so that Kapil Muni would have been born, no? Kapil Muni ने पूरा सांख्य योग डिवाइस किया. कैसे? माँ ने क्वेश्चंस पूछे, देवहूति ने क्वेश्चंस पूछे, कपिल मुनि ने आंसर दिया. अनसुया ने प्रे किया तो दत्तात्रेय ने जन्म लिया. right? So please remember, we had very, very crucial roles, just that we were not directly scripturally studying anything. Okay? All right. Where are we? 22. Okay. Naradevatvam apanna Surakarya chikirshaya Samudra nigrahadini Chakre viryanyatah param.
In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigod. He exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea.
Beautiful, right? So we all know Ramji was an incarnation. Why was he born? Same, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya. Right? We all know the Ramayana, so we will not spend time doing that. Ekona vimshe vimshati me Vrishnishu prapya janmani Ramakrishnav iti bhuvo Bhagavan aharad bharam.
In the 19th and 20th incarnations, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balarama and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, the Yadu dynasty, and by doing so, he removed the burden of the world.
Right, so this is what entire 10th canto is going to talk about, Krishna and Balram, and God willing, we will all do the 10th canto together. So, Krishna and Balram were the 19th and 20th incarnations is what it says. Then, tatah kalau sampravritte sammohaya suradvisham budho namnanjana sutah Kikateshu bhavishyati Kavita, read.
Then in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theist.
So remember, this is a prediction. Okay, Buddha ka janam is a prediction for the Bhagavad, because Bhagavad has happened 5,000 plus years ago. Buddha was born about 2,500 years ago, right? So during Buddha's time, there was a lot of Brahmanical monopoly, religion-wise, right? We all know. Second chapter में भी क्या बोलते हैं भगवान? जब सिर्फ religious practices चल रहे हैं, याम इमाम पुष्पिताम वाचम प्रवदन्ति अविपश्चितः वेदवादरतः पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः कामात्मानः स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फलप्रदां क्रिया विशेष बहुलां भोग ऐश्वर्य गतिं प्रति. So what was happening at the time of Buddha was exactly that. People had chota sa intelligence. They were very, very attached to all the flowery words of the Vedas. ये animal sacrifice कर लो, तुमको ये मिल जाएगा. ये animal sacrifice कर लो, तुमको ये sense gratification, ये opulent life, ये बड़ा, lots of power, lots of money. People did not understand what the purpose of the Vedas was because Brahmins were ruling. The Brahmins knew the language. Nobody else knew the language. And the Brahmins at that time were misleading the population in general. Animal sacrifice was at its height. What is the actual purpose of the Vedas? Vedascha sarver ahameva vedyo vedantakrit veda vido vachaham. Right? So actual purpose of the Vedas is to know God. But at that time, people did not understand what the Vedas were meant for. They simply thought Vedas में सिर्फ animal sacrifice लिखा हुआ है, तो बस यही करते हैं और आगे बढ़ते हैं. What we need to appreciate is that God Himself comes and says, you know what? I don't necessarily want to believe in the Vedas. Because that was the need of the time. he wanted to get people to somehow or the other contemplate on God. Ahimsa to ahimsa, meditation to meditation, right? So if you see Buddha in his incarnation, it looks externally like he did not believe in the Vedas. He went against the Vedas. But that is not what he was doing. He was providing what was required for that generation. Buddha speaks a lot about karma, a lot about reincarnation, a lot about dharma, the eightfold path, right? Because he knew that we need to somehow or the other get people back to understanding religious principles. He did not want religiosity. He wanted spirituality. Rituals nahi chahiye the, spiritual chahiye tha. And that is what Buddha did. Okay, now I'm sorry, I'm going to hold you back for 2 more minutes. We'll do the last verse before we, conclude this whole section. One more prediction. Athasau yuga sandhyayam Dasyu prayeshu rajasu Janita Vishnu yashasho Namna Kalkir Jagatpatihi.
Thereafter, at the conjunction of 2 yugas, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as the Kalki incarnation and become the son of Vishnu, Yasa. At this time, the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers.
Perfect. So this is the final prediction here, right? Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is supposed to last for 4,32,000 years. Okay, 5,500 years are over. Baki ka jab bacha hai, dheere dheere dheere, like they say, it's going to get from bad to worse. But at the end of the period, what is going to happen? A Sandhya is going to come, because Kali Yuga khatam hoega, fir kya aega wapas? Satyug, right? In that Sandhya, how is this going to end? God is going to come back again. He's going to come as Kalki. Kalki avatar, who is going to be the son of Vishnu Yasha. In fact, it is predicted that our dear Parshuram, right, who is among the ones who is always existing, right, like Hanumanji, right? So Parshuram is also always existing. It is believed that Parshuram is going to be the guru for this Kalki and make him do a lot of tapasya to Shivji, who is going to help him come and get rid of all the plunderers at that point. Vangmay Mukut Shiromani Srimad Bhagavad ki Jai. Okay? Yes, Geeta.
वर्षा,
Yes.
ये 22 अवतार ही है ऐसा बोलते हैं ना?
बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. ये 24 ही तो दिया है यहाँ पे. ये कितना बोला है?
22.
हाँ ठीक है, 22 होंगे. It doesn't matter. See, what they're doing is they're just giving you a synopsis. Okay? The next verse actually, if you can try and learn that verse by heart, we'll do that next verse. Ete chamsa kalahpam saha krishnastu bhagwan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam Rudayanti yuge yuge. Is that the next verse?
28 is 28. 28 वाला है.
Okay, then I've left something out.
We are on.
We finished 25. ठीक है, 25 को बस करेंगे. What are your questions, Geeta?
Yeah, I could not understand 7th incarnation just now. Why? Because I read that Swayambhu Manu is called Yajna.
No. The Lord comes as Yajna. Lord is called Yajna. Which verse are you doing, darling?
Oh, 7th incarnation.
So it will be about the 12th verse, kya? हाँ, 12th verse. Yes.
12th verse.
Yeah, 12th verse. हाँ, बोलो.
I could not understand.
See, I'll tell you very simple. Okay. Now, you head your house. Okay. But you have someone to do your mopping, someone to do your cleaning, someone to do your cooking, someone to do your, everything. Alright? पर एक दिन suppose तुम्हारी cook नहीं आई. You will replace your cook because you are all capable. Okay, very, very gross example. Similarly, the Lord works with his cabinet. Okay? He has all these devatas to perform specific functions. But in one particular yug, in that Manuka period, when Swayambhuva Manu was ruling, he did not find anybody who was worthy of becoming Indra. So he said, bhai bhaad mein jaye, main khud jaake Indra ka role kar leta hu. Till I find somebody who is capable of becoming Indra. समझा? So God himself played the role of Indra, the lord of the Devatas. And to do that role, all the Devatas helped him.
Acha, now you see the verse 5. 5 verse में they have seen, they have told कि the Manus who are prominent within the universe are as follows. Yajna as Swayambhu Manu.
It's all right. No, don't worry too much. Here the Lord is calling himself Yajna, or Swayambhu or Manu can be called Yajna. But Lord is always called Yajna. In fact, another name for Vishnu is Yajna Bhuk. Somebody who only accepts things that are given through a Yajna. So don't worry too much about names. I mean, names could be repeated. जैसे हम लोग कपिल मुनि का भी पढ़ते हैं, there are 2 Kapils. And they will always tell you, be very careful, because we refer to Kapil Muni who gave Sankhya Yoga, not the atheist Kapil Muni. There's another Kapil who was an atheist. So बोलते हैं भी ध्यान देना इसके बारे में मत पढ़ो. So names will get repeated, darling.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Chatrali?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that Pruthu is same Pruthu जो पृथा के पिता थे, कुंती के.
I don't know. Prithu gets his name because उसने पृथ्वी को he made Prithvi again give back all her medicines and everything. So Prithu Maharaj gets his name because he was able to conquer Prithvi and make Prithvi favorable again. I don't think this is Prithu. This is Pritha ke dad. No. This is another yug, another time altogether. Okay. Do we have any more questions? No? All right. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the storytelling, and we will go into some complete devotion next week. All right. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you next Monday. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Varsha.
Thank you. Charuka ki कशा आहेत तुम्ही?
मस्त.
चला. Thank you. Hare Krishna.